Hello, welcome to the American Society of Regional Anesthesia and Pain podcast, ASRA Wrap. I'm your host, Raj Gupta, coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee. And we have an amazing group of people to talk with you today about the upcoming ASRA Fall meeting. This is right around the corner, and it's going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I want to tell you all the details about it, give you really a lot of hype about all the programming, the people, the networking opportunities. And I've got a great bunch of people to talk to you about it. So before I bring them on, I'm just going to show you a couple of things about the program just to make sure you're reminded about the dates and the time and the location. So this is the 23rd annual Fall ASRA Pain meeting, and it is at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, November 21st through the 23rd. And you have an early bird registration that ends right around the corner, September 26th. It's really fast, but you can save a lot of money if you just do that early bird registration. This meeting is full of content. We have over 500 abstracts coming to this meeting. There's a lot of excitement. Plus, make sure you book your hotel rooms. The hotel is the fabulous Caesars Palace, and there are block rates for those rooms. So it's important to get those discounted rates for your reservations. Obviously, Las Vegas has a lot of hotels to stay at, but you get the discounted rates when you book with the meeting. So go to this website. You can get the reduced rate and get that registered before people fill those blocks up. Okay, so let me bring the rest of the panel on here so we can talk about this meeting. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hey, good afternoon.
Okay, we're going to do some quick introductions. So let's start out with Christy Hunt. Christy, how are you?
I'm great, Raj. Thanks.
And tell us where you're from, Christy, and what your role at the meeting is.
Well, currently I'm at Mayo Clinic in Florida, and I'm the Fall 2024 Program Meeting Chair.
All right. Very important person, and very important person to go meet and say hi to, even though she's probably going to be running around like crazy during the meeting, but hopefully enjoying it as well, because there's a lot of good stuff there.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and honestly, I would love to come up. I would love to chat with anybody who's there. This is going to be an outstanding meeting, and yeah, please come up. Please say hi. Tell me what you think, how we can make it better.
Awesome. And next up, Ryan. Ryan, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Raj. I'm Ryan D'Souza. I'm also from Mayo Clinic in Rochester. I am very thankful to be working with Dr. Hunt in this meeting. I'm kind of doing more of the social media and marketing efforts on this meeting. So excited and super looking forward to this meeting.
I'm going to plug the social media hashtag while we got it. It's hashtag ASRAFall24. Everything's kind of tied into that hashtag. So if you're on whatever social media platform, that's one way to kind of tie all the content back together. So you'll be seeing that a lot during the meeting. And it's a great way to follow along, even if you're not there, which nobody's not going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. But if you happen to miss it, that's the way to follow what's going on. And then last but not least, Crystal Joseph, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Gupta. Hi, everyone. My name is Crystal. I'm a PGY3 anesthesia resident at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. I'm also the ASRA Resident Fellows Section Chair-elect. So really excited to talk about the opportunities we have for trainees here.
Huge part of the meetings, both the spring and fall meetings, it's the residents and fellows, trainees, actually going back to medical students as well. But you know, there's a lot of specialty programming at this fall meeting for the trainees, and we're really excited to talk about those. So we're going to come back to that in just a minute. Christy, you want to start out, kind of give us a little highlight on what your vision was for this meeting and how you want people to embrace some of that content. Where are they going to get the biggest bang for their buck at this meeting?
Well, as probably most people know, but maybe you don't, these meetings are planned well in advance. So years in advance, they know things like the location, the meeting forum, but you really start planning in terms of brass tacks and really concrete planning about 2 years in advance. So a lot of that programming starts 2 years ago, but it is amazing how the meeting theme of advancing advocacy and access is even like 10 times, it seems like even more relevant and important now than it was when we initially kind of thought about this meeting theme. This is probably one of the biggest issues facing pain medicine physicians today is, making sure that the the care that we're providing to our patients is something that's accessible to the patients, right? This is a huge issue in medicine in general, but it seems particularly for the field of pain medicine, this is even more and more critical. Azra Pain Medicine as an organization, honestly, is doing a whole lot through efforts including the Pain Medicine Coalition, which hopefully you have another podcast on dedicated just to that subject, as an outstanding effort championed by our current society chair, Dave Provenzano, that's bringing together a few different pain organizations to work together on advocacy and access, and also looking to work with the AMA as well, Azra is. So we have a few different avenues really focused on this, but that's what this meeting theme is really about. And like with every single great Azra Pain Medicine meeting, this is really also about advancing the science and emphasizing the science. There's a lot of discussion these days about, and there is every reason to be excited and hyped and that sort of thing. But really in the space, it's really about the science and substance, right? And that's what this meeting is heavily about. So it's about access, advocacy, and really advancing the science of pain medicine, which is really what this is grounded in. If we have good patient selection and we can really show good outcomes based on good patient selection and good application of therapies, that's how this is going to continue to improve. So that's what this medicine's meeting's about. A couple of things I just love to highlight if I could. Something that I don't believe has been done in previous meetings is we're having billing and coding pearls to accompany each main plenary session. So each moderator is also going to be presenting billing and coding pearls relevant to each panel, that's right in line with our theme of promoting advocacy and access. So when you think about how can we ensure, like I said, that some of these therapies go through the right channels so that patients can have them done. Each and every panel is going to highlight some of those billing and coding pearls, and this is going to be an extended member benefit beyond the meeting as well. You mentioned that there are several great trainee sessions and opportunities. We can highlight that more when we bring Crystal in, but that's a big theme of this meeting. We've got fantastic content for our APP team members as well, nurses, PAs, nurse practitioners, and then we have wonderful topics on neuromodulation, pharmacologic therapies, interventional therapies, heavy information in terms of plenary sessions and the workshops on radiofrequency ablation, regenerative medicine. We've really got it all. And so I'm thrilled about this meeting. And Ryan has been such a great colleague to work with. He's a future meeting chair. He's going to be an outstanding one. And he and the social media team have just been unbelievable in promoting this meeting. I think thanks to those efforts, we've had more abstracts than ever. We've broken the record of our 500 abstracts submitted, and close to that number have been accepted. Really great science at this meeting. And so really excited about that. It's going to be chock full of tons of great science, not only from the main content, but also really exciting research being presented as well.
That's awesome, Christy. I want to emphasize and highlight a couple of things that you said, and I'm going to jump to you, Ryan, after that. And we're going to come back to the social media aspects because we're going to talk about networking and how important that is in a minute too, and we'll tie all that together. But going back to some of the content in the sessions, one of the things when I was browsing through your program, and I have the lucky privilege of seeing this program develop over the last few years, and it's really matured into a phenomenal set of sessions. You're talking about the intersection of science and clinical practice, and you guys have done a masterful job of bringing the latest research, the raw research. You're going to be presenting articles and manuscripts and all that kind of stuff, but then converting it into practical aspects. Like you were talking the billing codes, there's actually quite a bit of practice management and, just the logistics of managing a practice. So these are applicable to academic groups, also applicable to a lot of private practice groups. Chronic pain is a little bit unique from our regional group where so much of it is practiced in small private practice clinics where people don't have necessarily the large support of a big institution or a big group. And it does fall on the shoulders of the physicians to kind of learn how to manage that practice. Ryan, you want to talk about that intersection a little bit about where the science and the practical meet at this meeting?
Absolutely. So again, I would like to first mention that I think this is going to be the best meeting ASRA has yet to have. Whenever I think of ASRA society in general, I think of an academic, ethical, and hardworking society. And Christy Hunt is like a perfect person for this to lead a meeting like this. And as Christy just mentioned, there are a ton of different things covering many different aspects of pain medicine. She went over the advocacy and policy piece of things. I think it's a very important part and very timely part, especially now in our practice. We're getting a lot of insurance denials. Reimbursement is decreasing. I know that reimbursement in general is decreasing across the entire spectrum of medicine, but really pain medicine has been hurting a lot. And yes, our practices hurt, but really the primary party that hurts is really our patients. And so increasing that access is very important. And I think this meeting is obviously going to emphasize that aspect of things. Other kind of components, for coming from me, especially, I'm an early career physician. So a meeting like this is very informative to help us start our earlier practice. And as Christy mentioned, giving billing and coding pearls is a very, very valuable resource for those that are starting our practices and making sure we're doing things the proper way. I'm also very passionate about education. And so one of the things that's coming back at this meeting is the Master Educator course. There'll be opportunities to be involved in education. And those that are passionate about being program directors, associate program directors, there's ways to kind of help increase your skills and kind of learn in that aspect as well.
Yeah, those are all fantastic. And Crystal, I want to talk about Ryan mentioned the trainees and how the importance of a meeting like this for people who are starting out their career. You're in that early transition period. You're in your residency program. You have a career right around the corner, hopefully a fellowship in between. Tell me about what you're hearing from residents and fellows, what they need from these meetings, and where you see this program kind of meeting that need.
Yeah. So I think one of the big things with ASRA is there's a lot of opportunities for professional growth. I think one of the big things at this meeting is the program director meet and greet. It gives an opportunity for trainees and applicants in the upcoming cycle to get a chance to talk to program directors and associate program directors, get a little more insight into each pain fellowship that they're interested in. So I think that is a wonderful asset that we have at ASRA. On top of that, there's a lot of educational workshops. There's an ultrasound workshop, which I actually have signed up for, that's available for trainees. It's great to work on those ultrasound skills and really develop our education. So there's a lot of fluoro workshops as well, PBLDs that are available for trainees to sign up and attend at ASRA. And I think that's also another important key thing that trainees are looking for, is that educational aspect that ASRA has. And to round it out, for applicants who are applying in the upcoming cycle, there's always a panel discussion on applying for fellowship, especially as we navigate this process of applying for fellowship. We always look towards people who've had that experience to get that insight. So I think those are all the important things that ASRA has to offer and that trainees are frankly looking for.
Roger, muted.
Yeah. It's amazing how many years we've been into this online stuff. We forget to unmute ourselves sometimes. So what I was saying is that one of the things we mentioned before, and Ryan, I'm going to jump back to you for a second, is the networking. And that's so important for the residents and fellows as well. Crystal mentioned access to the program directors, which is highly important. Actually, ASRA Pain Medicine has seen that as a huge, important investment to its community, is that we've decided to partner directly with the both the chronic pain and the regional anesthesia acute pain fellowship directors groups within the society to help host them from an organizational perspective, host their networking sessions with the fellows or rising fellows, but also help host their match programs. So the society is investing in that whole experience, so that their home base for those fellows is right within the society, and they have one place they can go to access to all those program directors. And that group has been growing in both importance and in capturing all the program directors from all the programs. So that networking session, and we're going to talk about the social events in a second, but the networking sessions for the residents and fellows, for those of you who've never been, is probably the single best social event during this conference. It is phenomenal. It's always packed. There's lots of interaction, lots of engagement. Everybody's having a good time. So if you were thinking about skipping it, I think that's unwise. Make sure you go to that social event. Great place to meet both colleagues and then also your future educators and future potentially partners down the road. So Ryan, you want to talk a little bit about how networking, social media, all of that's going to interact at this meeting?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. So I think, as Raj alluded to, the program director meet and greet is a phenomenal event. When I was a trainee, including as an early resident as well as a fellow, I made sure to always, every single year, attend that program director meet and greet. It's such a wonderful event just to kind of have all the program directors attend, and the trainees are able to easily approach these program directors, address your questions, also express your interests, and then make those early connections. A lot of these program directors are big leaders in our field. You could even start early collaborations on research or other projects and really kind of propel your connections moving into your early career. Another kind of important thing to kind of keep in mind with these networking events is it's your time to kind of really make those connections. We are also including some content in this year's meeting on social media. There's going to be a social media PBLD. So if you want to learn how to kind of help yourself kind of increase your visibility, help increase your social media presence, and kind of do it the right way, more of an academic and ethical way, I think this is the perfect meeting for you to kind of learn about those skills as well. But as Raj alluded to earlier, the program director meet and greet, the membership meet and greet are phenomenal events, and definitely this is something you just do not want to miss. It's a great event.
Yeah, and Christy, coming to you, the other group of people that, particularly in the fall meeting, that has a large presence and importance in the clinical practice of pain management is our nurse practitioners, PAs, and nursing group. And over the years, we've really emphasized their value in Azra Pain Medicine, increased the content that they have, increased their participation in the actual delivery of education. And then, of course, we have a meet and greet for them as well, so that they have an opportunity to engage and interact with each other and with colleagues that they're going to be working with. Talk to me a little bit about what the importance that you've put in the program about the PAs, NPs, and nurses.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So it's always interesting when I come to these meetings, and I've had the privilege of participating in their program before, and I see this mix of people who are just starting out in their practice and who are attending the meeting with their physician practice partners, and it's their first or second meeting, or maybe they're brand new into pain medicine. And then I see those who've been doing this for years. I was just having a chat with one of my nurse practitioner colleagues earlier this morning, and she was telling me, she had formerly been a neurosurgery nurse practitioner, and now she's been part of our practice for a couple of years. She's phenomenal. And she was telling me, that she's at that point in her career where she's had this, great experience. She's kind of relatively newer in pain medicine, but has had years of experience in putting in the surgical practice. And she's really looking at how can she advance her skills and how can she sort of really grow her career. Is the answer like doing more school, doing more education? But activities like Azra, specifically for the nurse practitioner, PA, and nursing group, are phenomenal for figuring out how you can stretch your career, right? So this isn't just learning the nuts and bolts of how to do a pain practice, right? A lot of folks are kind of getting that in their day-to-day practices. But when you really think about stretching yourself, growing that, not just the comfort in pain medicine, but really your role as a leader in your practice, your role in working with your patients, if you're trying to learn about, some of the advanced Pinnacle pain therapies, or ways to examine patients, talk to patients, really growing that skill set. This is a fantastic meeting for that. Not all pain societies offer such exclusive content to their APP team members and nursing team members. So I think that's something really exceptional about Azra that I love to highlight and celebrate. I love working with my colleagues, and we all worked better together as a multidisciplinary team. So Azra offers the exclusive track for APP and nursing team members, as well as the PA, NP, and nursing meet and greet. So there's social activities, as well as didactic content devoted to that. And there's even some workshops that are definitely going to be very helpful for these individuals as well, like good physical exam, neuro exam workshops. So this is really, really exciting content exclusively designed by and for APP and nursing team members. So we have teachers who are physicians, we have teachers who are APPs themselves. So really excited about the content for this year. We're really thoughtful about the program. And I think we have some really nice, exciting content. Some of it's foundational, some of it's really kind of stretch and growth content. So we really want to make sure we have something for everybody in those groups. And if I can, I just want to mention on the social activity. So I don't know how many of you guys have been to Caesar's Palace. I've been there a bunch for pain meetings, which is ironic. Like I don't really like get excited about gambling. I'm not like against it, just not my jam, right? I'm kind of that type A non-risk taker. Like if I'm not guaranteed to be successful, like it stresses me out. So gambling's like not my thing, right? I also, I feel like after I turned 40, like my sleep quality, I have one of these Oura rings, right? Like I can track my sleep quality, and even like one drink or something, like your REM sleep's not as great. So I don't drink, I don't gamble, I don't smoke, like super boring person, right? So Vegas, you think this isn't her place, but I've been there a bunch for pain meetings, right? So I feel like I know Caesar's Palace really well. If anybody wants tips, reach out, right? I will tell you which tower to stay in, how you can make sure you hit the gym if you want to before the meetings and so forth. But the social event is going to be in this really nice open air area. It's going to be November time of year in Nevada. Is going to be beautiful. So this is gorgeous. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this place or been out here, but this is a really nice spot. Usually you have to pay good money just to have the privilege of taking a beach towel out there and sunbathing, right? But we're going to actually be able to go out here for our social events. This is going to be super cool, super fun. Networking and things like that are critical to our career and our growth. But this is also just such a beautiful place to do this, actually. So I'm really excited about this. This Apollo pool area is going to be beautiful. So please make sure to come out and enjoy it. This is going to be super special. I do not usually I've never made it out to the Garden of the Gods before, so I'm pretty excited about this. Just wanted to plug that. It's going to be really exciting. We also are going to have a yoga session. And I know you've been to yoga sessions, right? Like, what's so special about yoga? But this is going to be beautiful. Even the gym in Caesar's Palace is really nice. We've got really beautiful space for this. So please make it to the wellness event. I love to do a fun run. I love to do those runs. But, it's just not a great place to go running. And with the F1 weekend, it's going to be crazy. So this is going to be a beautiful moment to relax and really enjoy the space that we have here. So get invigorated and also get social. This is a great place for that.
Yeah, I've walked around that pool area as I've also been to Caesar's Palace for many meetings before. I hosted my spring meeting in 2019 at Caesar's Palace as well. So that pool area, I didn't get to sunbathe, and I actually don't some of us don't need to tan too much, so we don't sit out in the sun too long. But just walking around that pool area is gorgeous, and it's a beautiful, beautiful area. And it's going to be more important than even the beauty of the area is the fact that, these people that come to these meetings, these are my camp friends. These are my friends I come back to every year to just reconnect, reinvigorate, and get excited about my profession, about my colleagues, about the science. And part of it is the people that I get to do it with. So I hope that other people get an opportunity to build those relationships and build those foundational friendships for a long period of time in the future, so that they also feel incentivized to come back year after year. And these social events are what make that possible, because we bond a lot at those times. And I can guarantee you, every one of us on this call would be happy to say hi to you and make new relationships and friends with you at the meeting. So if you're timid or nervous or shy, most of us are wallflowers at some point in our life, just come say hi to any one of us, and we will be happy to bring you into the fold. So that's my own personal aside, addition to what you had to say, Christy. I think that's so important. I don't want to forget. Go ahead, Christy.
Well, I'm sorry, if I could just mention one more thing. Sorry, you're talking about different groups that we're really wanting to make sure are welcome at this meeting. I also want to mention that I'm the second, meeting chair that's a PM&R doctor, physiatrist. Alexios was the first one last year. And one of the things that I remember when my first Azure Pain Medicine meeting was when I was a resident. I think I was 1 or 2 years behind Crystal at the time. And I had the title of it was American Society for Regional Anesthesia. And I was like, can I even come? Like, I was sort of afraid to tell people I was PM&R. Somebody was telling me to come into it's called the RSC back then. And they were trying to invite me to go in there. And Amy Pearson was a year ahead of me. And she's like, yeah, come join this. And I said, I don't think I'm allowed. Like, I'm not an anesthesiologist. And it was, really funny to even joke but that's really what I thought back then. And everybody's so welcoming. And I thought, gosh, this is a great meeting as a PM&R person who's stepping into a field that is, outside of what I had trained. It's obviously, I think physiatrists make great pain doctors. Maybe I'm biased. I think we all, when we work together, that's the best solution, right? So when we learn from each other and work together. But it's a little bit of a different environment, right? And so for PM&R doctors, specifically physiatrists, if you're trying to figure out what's a great meeting to get involved with or a great society to get involved with, Azra Pain Medicine is fantastic for that. We're going to have a PBLD that's actually also like specifically if PM&R doctors are wanting to find out more about Azra Pain Medicine or kind of how that's very specific to them. But please come and join us. It's extremely PM&R friendly and neurology and obviously anesthesiologists, but it's not just for anesthesiologists. It's been an incredibly welcoming society and has helped me feel that much more comfortable with the field of pain medicine more broadly. So really just want to encourage everybody, regardless of your background, if you're in pain medicine or if you're a trainee going into pain medicine, this is the society for you. And I just really hope you make it. This is one of those societies that's not just focused on, what's exciting and highly commercialized, right? This is about great science and great foundational knowledge to be an outstanding healthcare provider, right? Not just physician, APPs, nurses, nurse practitioners. So, so this is a really great society to get involved in, regardless of your background specialty. So I just want to make sure everybody knows to feel really welcomed.
One thing I would be remiss in mentioning is the workshops. And Crystal, I'm going to jump to you here in a second. Is, as a trainee, you guys are still learning a lot of these procedures, and I know you haven't done your fellowship yet. What do you hear from the trainee groups about workshops that are really important to them? What kinds of hands-on experiences are valuable? Because I know Christy and Ryan and the whole committee have put together some phenomenal workshops. I'm curious to know, like, what are the fellows hungry for?
I think big workshops that are helpful are, any kind of procedural workshop, fluoroscopy based, or even ultrasound based, like I mentioned before. I think just getting the hands-on experience to really feel more comfortable with a lot of the procedures that they do and when they become attendings is what's really important. Getting that repetition in. So these workshops really help with not only the introduction to these procedures, but also just repetition. So I think with the common procedures that we do in the pain field, I think residents included just feel comfortable if they get to, kind of a see one, do one, teach one, but with repetition, of course. So I think that's where these workshops really come into play.
And Ryan, you guys have fluoroscopy, ultrasound, cadavers. I mean, it's a pretty robust. This is not a fly-by-night workshop experience. Talk a little bit about some of the, really important aspects of the workshops.
Absolutely. So I would like to actually piggyback on points that Dr. Hunt and Dr. Joseph brought up. So, first of all, I think the ASRA cadaver course that we have and different workshops that we have are exceptional. One of the things that Dr. Hunt mentioned was scientific, ethical, right? And kind of having more of a scientific content. So the people that are teaching these workshops, they're not getting paid by these industries. They're going to hopefully provide a non-biased approach and a scientific approach to doing these procedures. And like you mentioned, there's fluoroscopic procedures, there's ultrasound procedures. There's going to be workshops on things like physical exams and stuff. So it really covers a very, very wide spectrum of procedures. And we're not, like Dr. Hunt mentioned, we're not trying to commercialize anything. We're just trying to teach our audience the right way to do things, a scientific approach to things, and also hopefully the correct indications with the right scientific evidence. So I think that's the biggest aspect to take home from these workshops.
And I've had a lot of conversations with people about this balance between the involvement and inclusion of industry, which are the oftentimes developing new models, developing new equipment, and that is important as well. But then making decisions based on the science that's in the literature, and often the people writing the science are the ones teaching it, so that you're getting the hands-on experience with the people that are at the cutting edge of writing the guidelines and the best practices. And so I think that the beauty of what we're trying to do is that bring together industry bring together their innovation, bring together their novel techniques and hardware and equipment in the same space that you can learn how to do these techniques, regardless of the specific model or brand or a product that you're using. So you get both skills. You get the skills of the individual product and the general skills that you need as these products evolve over time. If you guys don't mind my soapbox for a second, one thing I encourage people: pain medicine is going through a little bit of a tough time right now. I think that if you ever invest in the market, the best time to buy is when it's low. This is the time to buy into pain medicine. This is the time to invest in the skills and learning that's broad based, so that as pain medicine has a resurgence, which it will, you're already ready to go for that. And having a broader education and a variety of techniques so that you're ready to adapt to whatever comes around the corner puts you in place to take advantage of all those new changes as they come around. We don't know when that's coming, but it will come. It will come in the very near future. And so this is a great way to get prepared for that.
Can I piggy off those points you just made? So
Please do.
You just mentioned, this is a very critical time in pain medicine, and I couldn't agree more with you. And I think this meeting is really going to emphasize that. As Dr. Hunt mentioned, the goal is to get you all to think and really get to kind of push the future research agenda forward. This is a time where insurance, like I said, is we're having increasing denials, decreasing reimbursement, and all those things. And part of it is due to the type of evidence that's available in the field. When I think of the field of pain medicine, I think of a high degree of conflicts of interest. I think of the data pretty fragile, especially from RCTs originating from industries and not really initiated by the investigator themselves, or even non-industry sponsored research is very limited in the field. So I think those 2 points are kind of wake up calls for our field, and I do think this meeting will highlight that and kind of help push the future agenda moving forward.
There's so much we could talk about this meeting, and really we could go on for hours and hours, but I don't want to do that right now. What I'd like to do, Christy, if you don't mind, is I'd like to wrap this up. If you have any last thoughts, the main thing I want to remind people is go to the website, look at the program, look at the faculty, look at the deadlines. Don't miss your deadlines, and register for the meeting. But I do challenge everybody to do one thing. So, Christy mentioned it earlier. This is ASRA Pain Medicine now. We've made a conscious effort to add that to the title. We want to be inclusive to all parties. So I challenge those of you who are out there, ask one of your colleagues. It can be a fellow physician. It can be a physiatrist that you work with that maybe doesn't have a home for pain medicine. They haven't found a society that welcomes them into this field. It could be one of your APPs. It could be one of your trainees. I challenge you to bring one extra person, because like Christy mentioned, oftentimes that's all it takes. It takes somebody to say, hey, you are welcome. You are invited. You are going to get a lot of value out of coming to this meeting and being part of this community. So I'm going to challenge everybody listening, bring one extra person. Register yourself, but then register one extra person that hasn't come to this meeting. It will blow their minds. They're going to be really impressed with the opportunities at the society. And I think that all they need to do is see it once. And I know Christy, Ryan, Crystal, and the whole team put this together are going to give you a knockout experience. So with that lead in, Christy, you want any last thoughts about this upcoming meeting?
I just want to thank everybody for being here and for talking about the meeting. The aid from the planning committee and also from our president, Dave Provenzano, has been unbelievable. It's been really excited to put this together. And like Raj said, this is really a meeting you do not want to miss. I'm very excited about this. The deadline is next week. I think if you're listening to this podcast, you should be rewarded with a little insider information. So I'm not sure exactly how much I can share, but I am just going to share with you that in-block room rate that you definitely want on F1 weekend, those room capacities, I don't want to tell you the number, but it is getting up there. So I would really encourage you to register for the meeting and book your hotel room, because it's going to get eaten up quickly. So please, 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 as soon as you're listening to this podcast, register today, get your room today, so that you'll be able to have a hotel room at Fabulous Caesar's Palace when you get there. We just had our planning committee meeting last night update, and it is getting up there. So make sure to register and book your hotel room.
Yeah, early bird deadline September 26th. That's next week. You can still register after that, but it's a little bit less expensive to do it by September 26th. Those rooms. Oh my gosh, F1 weekend. I forgot to mention that earlier. This is going to be a busy weekend. It's going to be a crazy, awesome weekend in Las Vegas. But the rooms are going to be a little bit harder to find, so you want to get in block. And Caesar's Palace is huge. You're going to get plenty of steps just being inside Caesar's Palace. You don't need to go to one of the other hotels and walk all the way to the conference. Just be in the hotel itself. There's plenty of walking. You'll get your 10,000 steps. I guarantee it at Caesar's Palace. That's part of the wellness program that we're putting together.
That's right.
Yeah. Ryan, any last thoughts before we wrap up?
I completely echo what Dr. Hunt said. I'm super excited for this meeting. Can't wait to meet people, make new connections. And I think this is going to be the best meeting that ASRA's ever had. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I have been having conversations with people recently that these meetings are 50% content, 50% networking. So if you don't take advantage of the networking opportunities at these meetings, you're missing out. That is a huge value. These are your collaborators, your colleagues, your potential employers down the road. If you don't take advantage of meeting them in person, you're really missing out on a great opportunity. So hashtag Azure Fall 24 for the social media aspects. In person, those social media links are going to tell you what's happening right now. So you can kind of be in 4 places at the same time, really live up the meeting in full capacity, and then also know if something cool is happening that you want to be at that you may have forgotten about. So make sure you follow that hashtag and go meet people, say hi, shake hands. Don't just be on social media, be in real person interactions too. Those are really important. Crystal, any last thoughts, especially coming from the point of view of a trainee coming to this meeting?
Yeah, so I just want to really emphasize for our first time attendees, especially when you're a trainee, take advantage of the mentorship program that we have in the meeting. So you get paired with a mentor if you sign up, and they kind of take you around through the conference. It's a really great opportunity. I used it when I was an intern, and I actually was paired with Dr. Christensen. It was awesome. She told me the same points that you echoed, Dr. Gupta. Get a chance to really take advantage of the meeting, meet new people. She said, meet 5 new people and make those connections. So that's really important. And I encourage all trainees to take advantage of that.
Fantastic. So I'm going to emphasize azra.com/pain. Go to the website, find out about the meeting, register, get your hotel, book your flights too, get those in before the prices go sky high. And we can't wait to see you at the meeting. All of us are going to be there. Come say hi to us. If you don't have anybody else to talk to, for some reason you can't meet one other person, you have 4 people that you can come say hi to. So I promise you we'll look forward to talking with you and introduce you to the next 4 people. And that's how it starts. So so excited to be in Las Vegas with you guys. Looking forward to it. Thank you all for being here on the podcast. And we see you in Las Vegas in the very, very near future. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.